Well, my shipment of Knockdown the board game finally arrived. I've been anxiously watching this and tracking it through FedEx, and I'm happy to say all 3 volumes arrived, plus the 2 extra minis. I will be honest with this game, aside from volume 2 with Nemesis, these other characters, I've heard of the games, never played them. So I really like the look of these characters, and they, Awaken Realms and Awaken Realms Light does a great job with their minis. So they certainly got my attention, but Nemesis was the one that really got me to jump on board here. First off, a shout out to Quartermaster Logistics on another fabulous job of protecting my game. The box actually had a little bit of damage on the outside, but looking at the contents of the box, you never would have known it. Every game that they have shipped to me, they have done a fabulous job of protecting that investment. So let's take a look at each of the volumes here. We'll start with volume 1 because, of course, it's volume 1. If we take the lid off here, first of all, as we all know, if we're backing this game, the interior is set up as our backdrop, and what I really like, the artwork actually continues along the edges. Sorry, a little bit of a shadow there on all the edges, and even a little bit down below here to complete that illusion of that battlefield. So we get into this volume 1 rules. Now I assume, and I haven't had a chance to go through all of them yet, but I do assume that each volume is going to have some slightly different rule variations based on the characters that we've got. That's just an assumption I'm making without having a chance to sit down and read through them. The basic rules are not going to change. I just assume that it's going to be some of the oddities, like the Nemesis one. I did see that they had some things that are unique to Nemesis itself, but otherwise I think we're going to see pretty much the same rules throughout. The one thing I will say about the rule book, and I don't notice it on this one as much, but you can kind of see the staple job, especially for the early pages. It's not quite on, and like right here, we're getting a little bit of cutoff on the words, and so minor issue with the rules that it's not going to affect how you read it. When we get in, then we've got, of course, we have to have our silica gel in every box, but we've got our player boards, and they are pretty thin. That's one thing I did see online, that people were saying they were surprised how thin they are, but with this form factor of a game, you got to keep your box low profile and light. So I didn't expect this to be much thicker. It is double-sided, so you've got the same character, but different abilities depending on which side you want to use for all 3. And I do like the dynamic pose here of him. Looking forward to painting all of these minis when I finally get a chance. Every box comes with tokens, decent cardboard, good thickness, and double-sided for some. Not exactly sure what they are. And then when we take out the interior here, you get a pretty good look here at the minis. I am happy that they don't stick in the plastic as much. Those of you who have the original Nemesis game, you know that some of those containers were a little tight on your intruders. So got our 3 minis, got our damage cubes, dice if you want to go that route, and of course your cards. And I'm not going to take the time to open those because, again, they tend to be a pain to open on camera. If I can set this aside here real quick, let's just take a look at what the board game, or the battle arena looks like. So you've got, of course, your game board on the back, and each one of these did come with this taped over. So, your typical back of a board game so you can see what's inside and learn a little bit about the game if you're buying this in retail. It came off really easily. It has a little bit of tape on each side. Didn't damage the box at all. And so this is the back of our box. We slide that in. And there we go. There is our battle arena. I think that's just a neat effect. They did a pretty decent job of matching up the artwork here to give you that 3D dimensional battlefield. So that is volume 1. Let's get into volume 2 now, which, as I talked about, is Nemesis. We've got the creepy corridor of the Nemesis that we're going to have to battle through. I'm not going to go through each rule book, but this is the one that I do want to point that out. I did really notice it right here. You can really see the words are cut off a little bit, but just early on in the book. I didn't catch it later in the book. Again, we've got our player boards. I gotta be honest, I'm not a fan of naming him Puppy, but well, we can't win all the votes on Kickstarter. So, got our 3 Nemesis characters. Nice, because I can use them for the alternate poses too when I'm playing Nemesis, which is a game I sadly need to get back on the table. It's been a while since it's been out there. That and its Knockdown expansion. And real quick, just getting in here, I'm not going to pull out everything again. All 3 of these are laid out the same. Another, like I said, a good alternate mini that I could use, as well as the captain. And actually, his mini turned out better. I was one of the first runs of the original Nemesis, so just initial look here, the detail on these minis is far improved. I mean, I said they do a nice job, but I know Nemesis, there were some struggles with some of the minis early on. So good to see that those look good. And back of the board, fighting in Nemesis. I love, you got your warning tape, and it matches up right there in the back of the box. And that looks really cool. Can't wait to get the minis on there. And of course, you can mix and match these battles. So that's the other appeal to this game, especially if you are somebody that supported more than one of these franchises. The last one here, volume 3. There's the interior. That's going to be a little bit hard to see. Very dark interior, you can see there. And just a real quick rundown here. That is a compelling figure. I'd like to know more about him. May have to dig into Tainted Grail a little bit more and just see. I do find it interesting. They have a very stoic, static picture of the Lost Knight, but when you see his mini, he's nothing like that. Got your cardboard pieces again. And, sorry, that one opened up upside down. If we pop that out, that's what I'm talking about. Look at that. Compared to that picture, I mean, he's jumping at you. You need to get out of the way. That sword is going to do some major damage. And I just love the look of this guy here. All right, and if we take a look at the battle, notice this one has got some interior design as well. I didn't notice that on Nemesis, actually, but it is. I guess they all do have an interior design as well. Nemesis was just more spaceship style. So we put the battlefield in like this, and very dark, swampy area. I love the idea of the side scroller. I think that's a very unique way of handling this game, and should be entertaining to get to the table. And I think it's going to be a nice quick play that you can get a lot of these in one night. I also got the 2 clamshelled figures. Again, really at a loss as to where they came from. I wasn't going to open these on camera, but they are actually, you know, clamshells can be the bane of some existence. I don't need any sort of cutting utensil to get into this. It pops open real nice. I did see online some people were a bit surprised by this, so I want to point it out to you. Obviously, no player board. You got your mini. Sorry about the glare there, the penguin. but they can't fit a player board in there. So what they've done is inside this little sleeve, you've got your cardboard tokens. And in there here, the cards, you actually, when you get them out, you will take, and they are double-sided, and if you want to play as the Globetrotter, you make sure these two cards, so there it shows all your abilities, just like if you had the full-size card in the box. And then you can put this beside it. The picture's the same, but here's the Globetrotter, and now he's set and ready to play. Then you have a reference card here for basic information. So that's their way of dealing with not having a full-size player board. I don't think it's that big of a deal, and certainly won't impact the gameplay at all. And then, of course, here we've got, I don't know how to say that name, Cleto, same idea in there. And if you take a look real quick, let's just see what cardboard tokens she has. She's only got one, so nothing special there at all. That was kind of anticlimactic. But anyways, this is going to be an entertaining game, I think, and I can certainly see this being a nice filler game, or you just put together a nice little tournament, and I look forward to seeing how it plays, how quickly it plays. They give you two options for the gameplay using dexterity-based damage, and then also you can do dice instead if you'd rather roll for that. So there you have it. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Please feel free to subscribe and give me a like, thumbs up, and until next time, keep getting those games to the table.